Hey, it's Sheeta D from Sheeta's on the Loose, and I'm here to talk to you today about my life and my living expenses in Mexico City. Now, before we get too far, this isn't a video about how to cut your expenses dramatically by moving to Mexico. This is not a video about how cheap it is to live in Mexico. This is a video about what it costs for me to live my dream life in Mexico, which is what I'm doing now. So as I get into the expenses, know that a lot of these numbers are higher than numbers you'll see in other people's videos. We all live different lives, right? So I am here telling you about what it costs for me to live the life I want to live. If you're looking for content about how to live in Mexico pretty cheaply, there are some great videos out there. I recently watched some from Picky Girl Travels the World, my girl Adelia, the Yarbros, and from Good Energy, and they're all in different cities, but they talk about their cost of living there and how cheap it can be to live in Mexico. Significantly cheaper than I'm living for all of them. I reached financial independence. I retired early. And part of my plan was moving to Mexico because the cost of living was cheaper than it was when I was living in the US. I was living in the Bay Area. But it's not a bare bones cost of living. It is a very, very generous cost of living that allows me to do all the things that I want to do. So let's get into it. A note, all of the numbers I'm going to tell you are in US dollars just to make this a little bit easier so you don't have to do the math. I'm doing it for you, but I pay for everything down here in pesos. All right, let's go. All right, here's what I spend. Starting off with the biggest number, rent. I rent here, I don't own. I live in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in what people call the Beverly Hills of Mexico City. I'm actually on the outskirts, so it's like hills, a little less Beverly, but it's still pretty fancy compared to other neighborhoods. It's a luxury building. We have 24-hour security. We have pools, gym, outdoor spaces, big outdoor spaces, play areas for kids, dog park for dogs. All the amenities I could possibly want are here. I got the apartment unfurnished, and I am paying about, because it changes each month with the exchange rate, about $1,270 a month for rent. Yes. If you've watched other videos about living in Mexico, that number sounds high. I have the place I want. I'm in the neighborhood I want. I love my apartment and I pay for it because it makes me happy. Apartment also comes with 2 parking spots, but I don't believe in driving here, so I don't use those. And because I really like space, I'm planning on moving to a larger apartment, probably a 3-bedroom, in a more central area. So my rent is going to go up when I move in December, most likely. One thing to keep in mind is that because I live in a more expensive neighborhood, all of the things I do locally are a little bit more expensive than they would be in other parts of the city. So if I want to go to the corner store, more expensive. If I want to go to a restaurant on the street, more expensive. The taco vendors outside, slightly more expensive. I pay for the convenience. I mentioned 3 YouTubers earlier, Picky Girl Travels the World, the Yarbros, and Good Energy. $1,270, I think, is the highest. One of them paid for their entire monthly budget. $1,270 as rent is a high number for rent. It's a high number actually for a total budget. But I think about it in context, it is significantly lower than what I would be paying in the States for what I'm getting now. So I'm okay. I'm happy with it. Next on the list is food. I'm spending about $200 a month on groceries. That includes, I get most of my groceries delivered. So every once in a while, I'll go to Costco and get like a big thing, but like the lugging it home and all that stuff, when I can just get it delivered pretty easily, is I've decided I'm going for convenience. So if it's the local grocery stores, I definitely get those delivered, especially because they bring water to me and I don't have to like drag that home. and Costco, I'm starting to get delivered as well. And that, like I said, comes out on average to about $200. Where I get a little bit more expensive is eating out. Now, I don't eat out a lot. I eat at home most days of the week. I always eat breakfast at home, lunch at home. I might eat dinner out. I don't do it a lot. But when I do go out, I go to really nice places. So when I'm going out to dinner, I'm going out to places that can cost a lot of money. And in Mexico, costing a lot of money for dinner could be a $30 restaurant. It could be a $100 restaurant. And I have friends coming to visit me in the next all of August. And so I have 5 reservations at restaurants that are going to cost me between $50 and $100 per meal. But those are probably going to be like the only times I eat out that month. So my average restaurant expense, monthly expense, is about $400. So I'm spending about $600 a month on food in a place where I could fill up on tacos for like $1. Right? I could eat tacos for every meal for $1 if I walk down to the corner, and that would be the entire expense. And I'm spending $600 on food, and I don't feel bad because I'm living the life I want. And the restaurants down here are amazing. If you are familiar with Mexico City restaurants at all, some of the restaurants I have reservations at in August are Pujol, Contramar, and I'm going to Quintonil twice with 2 different people because I love it there. So definitely food is a place where if I was interested in cutting down my spending, I could pay attention there, but I'm not as interested in cutting down my spending as I am in creating the life I want to live. When I moved to Mexico City, I moved into an unfurnished apartment. And an unfurnished apartment here is truly unfurnished. There was no fridge, no washer dryer. There's a hole where a dishwasher would go. So I had to get everything. So I've spent about $3,000 on furniture and appliances. That includes 2 beds, couch, TV, fridge, washer dryer, the desk I'm using, the chair I'm sitting in. But there's nothing really else I need to get right now. And so I'm going to leave that out of my monthly budget. I'll consider that moving in expenses. So if you're moving into an unfurnished place, there are definitely going to be expenses, but I'm not counting that in this monthly budget. Moving on to miscellaneous expenses. I spend about $300 a month shopping. Sometimes that's like the Costco stuff that's not food, like the giant trash can I bought or the yoga mat I wanted. And sometimes that's a perfume. So, but on average, $300 a month on shopping. There are things in Mexico that are super cheap, and there are things in Mexico that are not. Electronics are one thing that I have not found a single electronic item I want that is cheaper in Mexico than it is in the US. I did a video about this that I hope to bring to you guys soon, but for a lot of the electronics I want, it's cheaper to bring it down with me from the US and pay for an extra suitcase. I'm actually looking at upgrading my computer, and it would be cheaper to fly up to the US, buy the Mac, put it in a suitcase, bring it down, than it would be to drive a mile down the street and buy it down here. So like even including the flights and any additional luggage I needed, that would be cheaper because it's like an $800 difference in buying it down here and buying it up there. It's $800 more expensive down here. Why? It's the same computer. You're sending it to the same place. The only difference is a Spanish keyboard versus an English keyboard. And I know that doesn't cost $800. Why? But yeah, all electronics are more expensive, TVs, et cetera. And so my shopping, as it applies to electronics, is just going to be a little bit higher. Like this mic costs more on Amazon Mexico than it would on Amazon US. I don't get it. I don't understand. It just is what it is. All right. Another miscellaneous, I have spent about $250 a month on travel. That's average. There are months where I don't go anywhere because, pandemic. And then there are months where I might go off for 2 weeks somewhere. So that's where I am. And all of my travel is in Mexico right now, or heading back to the US for something. I spend about $50 a month on Spanish lessons, and that's 4 times a week. So that's been really good for me. It's frustrating, y'all, because I thought my Spanish was much better than it truly is when we start getting into the real grammar. But it's good for me. We do it online once a week, $50, totally worth it. Next up on my miscellaneous list, I have a house cleaner, which brings me so much joy, immeasurable joy. I don't have to clean the kitchen. She cleaned out my fridge last week, and I was like, I never knew it could be like this. I just love the experience. I pay my cleaning lady about $100 a month. She comes for 4 hours every Friday, cleans. Sometimes I got to be like, girl, your 4 hours is up. I need you to go. Like, I appreciate that you want to put your back into this, but please go and eat lunch. Like, please, our deal was that you clean for 4 hours. Anything that's not done today can be done next week. I'm probably not going to do it in between. I'm not cleaning the guest bathroom that no one has been in a month in between your stay, her coming, if she misses it 1 week, because nobody's here and it didn't get dirty since last time because nobody uses it. But this has been one of the best upgrades to my life. It's just, I've had a cleaning lady before, but there's something about the way the woman down here comes in. It feels like she's doing it with love, where the lady in the US, there wasn't a lot of love. And the lady in the US, I was paying for every 3 weeks because it was $80 every 3 weeks when I lived in Ohio. And so to pay less than $25 a week for 4 hours of cleaning feels pretty dang good. Now, $25 or $22.50 actually in pesos is the price she quoted me. When I heard the number, I was like, I think that's kind of high for what you're doing. Compared to the cost of other things down here, not thinking in US prices, thinking in Mexico prices, especially labor prices, that number felt high, but I don't negotiate with the laborers I hire down here. So if you are coming to do a service for me, even my Spanish teacher, I don't negotiate with you. If you tell me your price, either I want to pay it or I don't. If I don't want to pay it, I'll look for someone else. If I want to pay it, come through. So I'm paying less than $100 a month. I might be getting overcharged. And it's still a beautiful experience, and I love it, and I recommend it for everyone. Okay, next on my miscellaneous list, I have a woman who comes in and gives me pedicures twice a month. She comes to my door, she sets up her thing every other Monday morning, gets my feet, and she rubs and she scrubs and she does all the magic. And the pedicure includes a 20-minute foot massage. Y'all, woo, she does the work. She's actually the most expensive service provider I have because I'm paying her with tip about $30 each time I see her. So that's about $60 a month. But per session, she charges the most. But having her come to my house, it feels so luxurious, which is the life I wanted to build here. Like I said in the beginning, having a life where you're financially independent, if you've retired early, whatever that means to you, it doesn't have to be a life of deprivation. It doesn't have to be a life of deprivation while you're on the track to financial independence, because that can make it really hard. And it doesn't have to be a life of deprivation after. I live a very, very good life. I'm very happy with my life. One of the reasons I'm in Mexico is I can live the exact life I want at a price point I want. So as I said in the beginning, these numbers are not average, right? These numbers are a little high compared to other videos you'll see, but it's because I like a luxurious lifestyle. Opulence. Okay. All right. I have an unlocked phone. So when I first moved down, I got a Mexican SIM card because on a Mexican SIM, you can get like unlimited data for a month for like $25. Why not? Right? Super cheap. The data here is really cheap and good. And I was switching out my SIM card. So if I needed to use my US number for something, I would just switch it out. And then I put back the Mexican one. And then I lost my US SIM card. So people who had my US number couldn't talk to me for months on that number. They could find, you can find people online, in a variety of ways. So it wasn't a big deal. In fact, I didn't even tell people for like 4 months. And then I was like, oh yeah, if you're looking for me, I don't have that number right now. And if I also needed that number though for two-factor authentication on some accounts, like some bank accounts, et cetera, and I couldn't access them because I didn't have that SIM card. So I switched over to Google Fi. I was paying, I think, like $85 a month for T-Mobile, and I think 25, around 25, we'll say, depending on how much data I use, for the Mexican SIM with Telcel. Telcel was my provider. So that I can do math on the spot, $109 a month around. But like having a single SIM and switching out meant that I lost my SIM, right? It wasn't something intentional. I thought I was being really careful. I was not being as careful as I needed to be because it was gone. So when I went back to the US in May, I switched over to Google Fi. And now I have my old number back because I was able to port my old number to Google Fi because I hadn't canceled the service yet. So I ported my number to Google Fi, and it gives me unlimited data, unlimited calls from any country where they have service in the world, which is most of them, for $130 a month. So I am paying more for cell phone service than I could. If I had a dual SIM phone, this probably wouldn't be a problem because I could have both SIM cards, a US SIM card with a cheap plan and a Mexican SIM card with a good and inexpensive data plan, but I don't have a dual SIM phone. So I have to choose one SIM. I choose the US Google Fi SIM. I can use it while I travel. The unlimited data is important to me. The unlimited calls are important to me. And I think it's like 130 countries it works. No, I know why I said 130 because it cost me $130 a month, right? I don't remember how many countries it works in, but it's a lot. Yeah, so like I said, my budget is about creating ease and lightness in my life. It's not about living cheaply. So no more getting locked out of accounts, no more not being able to talk to my people or having them not know who I am because I'm texting from a Mexican number and they're like, who is this spammer, right? I have the same number I've had for 15 years. Next on my list is transportation. Public transportation is in an abundance down here, but I typically use Uber or Didi to get around. Didi is another ride sharing alternative. So I do that because I live about a mile from the closest subway station, right? Closest metro station is about a mile away. I could walk the mile to get there. I could take a bus to get there, or I could take an Uber to get there. And when you get to the metro, the rides are about 25 cents for wherever you're going in the city. You can go anywhere once you enter through the gates for about 25 cents. It's a really great system. If I lived closer to a stop, I would definitely take it more. But most of the times when I'm leaving the house, I'm schlepping things with me. So a car is really nice, or I'm going to like a dinner in heels and I'm not walking a mile to get to the subway. That's not happening. And the price of most of my transportation is about $2 a ride to $7 a ride. No matter where I'm going to the city, it falls usually in between there. So I'm spending about $50 a month on transportation. I'm not mad at that number. Like I said, it could be lower if I was willing to walk the mile to Metro or take a bus to Metro, but that's just not how I'm built. Not now. Not interested. Next up on the list is utilities. There's only one utility that I pay monthly, and it's my internet service. For about $25 a month, I get internet, I get Netflix included, and I think I have a landline. I couldn't even tell you the number if I wanted to, but there's a phone number on my bill that I've never seen before, so I think it's one they assigned to me. Okay. I also pay for one other form of entertainment that's monthly, and I pay $3.50 a month for HBO Max, which I know is a lot cheaper than what a lot of people in the United States are paying. Entertainment in general, even if it's coming from the US, is significantly cheaper in Mexico. So movies on opening day are going to be a lot cheaper down here than they are going to be in the US. So electronics are more expensive, entertainment is cheaper. Now, all of the other bills I pay once every 2 months. I have done the math in the total, but I'm going to tell you what the number here is for a 2 month span. So for my gas bill, I'm paying $25 every 2 months. My water bill was $2.70 for 2 months. My electricity was $8 for 2 months, coming to a grand total for per month of $46.65. So all of my utilities per month, $46.65. This is like the part where my budget is very average for life in Mexico. Very average, $46.65, a great number for here. Now, what is the grand total? Drum roll. Per month, I am paying about $2,863 to live the life I want in Mexico City. Now, stop, don't freak out. I know for a lot of people, when you think about Mexico, you think like, oh, it's dirt cheap, and that's why everyone moves here. My life down here is not dirt cheap. I will definitely tell you that. So this might sound like a lot of money to live in Mexico, but I was paying that number for rent alone when I lived in the Bay Area, and I didn't have the amenities and the lifestyle I have now. So I am a person that pays to live the life I want to live because I think it's worth it. And living in Mexico City allows that for me. As I mentioned earlier, I pay to make my life convenient, to make it easy, to make it blissful, to bring me joy. Like, I pay extra for all of those things. I value the way I live. I want to be comfortable. I want to be happy. I want life to be super joyous. And so I buy my way into those things wherever I can. And even with a number like just under $3,000, I know I'd be paying a lot more than that in the US to live this lifestyle. So thanks for sticking around for more content like this about financial independence, about life in Mexico, about living the luxury life you want. Like, subscribe, hang out, turn on notifications. Let's do this. I am here a couple of times a week. I'll be showing up, and I appreciate your support. And let me know if there's anything in my budget that sounded absolutely crazy to you. So either based on your expectations or your experiences, was there a number that you were like, how? Sway? Hit me in the comments and let me know. Until next time, bye.